Hi everybody, it's Dan, and we're finally back in my kitchen just in time for St. Patrick's Day. And we're going to be whipping up a delicious new cake. Today, we're going to be whipping up a 6-layer vanilla rainbow cake decorated in some simple polka dots, and of course, a tiny cute little shamrock. I'll be sure to throw a link in the description down below for a full tutorial and cake recipe with loads of tips and tricks so you can make this cake right at home. Now for the cake today, I am going to be doubling the recipe amount. So if you're following along at home, just know that you will need to double the recipe. But for this video, I will be walking through the standard recipe amount. Now to make this cake, we are going to start with the batter. In a mixing bowl, we're going to go ahead and whisk together 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 3/4 teaspoons of salt. Then we just want to whisk all those ingredients together until they are nice and combined. Now let's set that aside and grab another mixing bowl for our next round of ingredients. Add in 2 sticks of unsalted butter at room temperature and beat on a medium speed until nice and creamy. After about 3 minutes of mixing our butter, let's add 2 cups of white granulated sugar to our mixing bowl. Then with our sugar added, continue to mix for another 5 minutes until both our butter and our sugar are fully incorporated together. Next, let's grab our egg whites at room temperature and gradually add them into our mixing bowl rather than just sloshing them all in at once. We'll let those egg whites incorporate into our mixture for about another good minute or so, and then we'll top off with 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. To finish off our cake batter, we are going to add in our flour mixture and our milk. So with your mixer on low, add your first third of your flour mixture, followed by your first half of your milk. Then repeat with your second third of your flour mixture, the remaining of your milk, and finally ending with your remaining flour mixture, allowing that to all come together in your mixing bowl. Of course, be mindful to scrape the sides and bottom of your bowl to ensure your batter incorporates well. Now we're going to go ahead, grab 6 mixing bowls, any size really, doesn't matter, and we're going to divide out our batter so we can go ahead and color it up in our rainbow colors. And what's great about coloring a cake like this is definitely going to be the versatility. You can easily swap out the colors for any holiday, like your favorite pastel colors for Easter that's coming up, or maybe some red, white, and blue for Memorial Day, 4th of July, or your favorite spooky colors for Halloween, or festive colors for the winter holidays like Christmas or New Year's Eve. Alrighty, let's go ahead and pop these cakes right in the oven. Once your cakes have baked, give them plenty of time to cool and then level off the tops. Now to fill our cake with sprinkles, let's use a circle cookie cutter and cut out the center of 4 out of our 6 cakes. And I'm actually going to use a 2 1/4 inch cookie cutter that I found to be the perfect size, but it all depends on how much sprinkles you'll want to fill your cake with. Now it is time for assembling our cake, finally! So let's go ahead, grab our bottom layer of cake. For this cake, it's going to be our purple layer. So let's pop that on our cake stand. Spread a nice thin layer of vanilla frosting over the top of the cake, all the way to the edge or as close to the edge as possible. And then we're just going to top with our second layer of blue cake. Add a little bit of more frosting. Spread it evenly and gradually adding a little more frosting as needed. Spreading it around our cake before we add our green layer of cake, keeping in mind to keep our centers as lined up as possible before we add more frosting around the cake. Then we're going to spread that and try to keep it as even as possible before adding on our yellow layer of cake. Then we're going to add more frosting, go back in, smooth it out so it's nice and even, and top with our orange layer of cake, making sure that our centers are nice and lined up. Before we top with our last layer of cake, we have to fill our cake with loads of sprinkles. Of course, what sprinkles you'd like to use is completely baker's choice. Once your cake is filled with sprinkles, grab your last layer of cake and place it right on top, bottom side up. So we have a nice flat cake top. Once your cakes have been filled and stacked, you're ready for your crumb coating and your final coating of frosting. Now most folks will use an offset spatula to spread a thin layer of frosting over their cake. Personally, I'll use a piping bag and start by filling in the gaps between my cake layers. I like to do this in case my cakes tend to start to lean or look a little topsy-turvy, and a little bit of frosting helps level that out and keep things nice and balanced. Application method aside, the crumb coat should be thin enough so that you can see the cake through it. Think of this more like the naked cake trend from a couple years ago. Smooth the icing as best as you can and let dry until it crusts over or feels dry to the touch. And that's going to be the important step there. The crumb coat should be dry before you apply the final layer of frosting. With our crumb coat dry, we are ready to continue frosting and decorating our cake. With your second layer of frosting, you'll want to spread more buttercream around the sides of your cake. This layer should definitely be a bit thicker than your crumb coat. You shouldn't be able to see your cake layers at this point. When you have frosting around your cake, grab your frosting smoothing tool or your bench scraper to smooth the frosting around the side of your cake. The goal here is to spread the frosting around the cake more so than to scrape it off. A little tip here is to try to hold your smoothing tool at an angle that's about parallel to the cake. Apply a gentle yet firm amount of pressure and remove off excess frosting after each pass around the cake. After your first few go-arounds around your cake, you might notice some small spots or patches that might need more frosting. Just add some small dabs of extra buttercream to these areas, then smooth again with your frosting tool using slightly less pressure. Then just repeat this process until the sides of your cake are nice and smooth. With our cake nice and frosted, let's grab a cup of our white frosting into a bowl, add a couple of drops of green food gel coloring, get that nice and mixed up, filled it into a piping bag with a piping tip so we can pipe on a little shamrock in the front of our cake. Now I'm no artist here, but I think our little shamrock is it's not too bad. It's not too bad here. For our polka dot decorations, let's grab a little bit of black fondant. We're gonna knead it out, roll it out, grab a medium round piping tip, and punch out medium black polka dots. To add your polka dots, grab a small spatula and carefully transfer them one at a time to your cake. You can also use fondant tools or everyday utensils for extra transfer support. Of course, where you add your polka dots is totally up to you. Be as intricate as you like or as simple as you like. Just grab a chair and start placing your polka dots around the cake. I will say though, this is definitely where a cake turntable will come in handy though. Instead of walking around your cake can just walk around for you. With our polka dots on, let's wrap up decorating with the top of our cake. For the top of the cake today, I'll be piping in almost a curved motion as I rotate my cake. And once you put on that last polka dot, that's it. You're done. You have your very own 6-layer sprinkle surprise St. Patrick's Day themed cake. I'm still working on the title. I don't know. It'll be in the title of the video. It's very long-winded. We need something shorter. But yeah, that's it. Super easy, super simple. I'm excited to cut into it though and see all the sprinkles go everywhere. So I think we do it. Get our knife here and slice into it. Just gonna glide it down. Oh, nope, don't fall yet. All right, I'm gonna lift it up carefully here. Oh, there we go. All at once, there we go. There's those sprinkles. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have so much fun picking those up off the floor before the dogs get to them. Well, everybody, that is going to be a wrap for today. Thank you all for stopping by and hanging out and learning how to make a delicious cake just in time for St. Patty's Day. I'll be sure to throw a link right down below in the description, so be sure to check that out. Comment down below on what your thoughts are on the recipe, what else you might like to see on the channel, like, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video very, very soon. Bye-bye.